I'm going to get into my toast in a second. If things go badly, Tony told me I should bring a slide whistle up, so to cover any awkward silence, I'll just do that. But before I do that, I'd actually like to say just a moment ago, it was a great pleasure for me. I know this day is about Michael and Philip, but it was a great pleasure for me to meet the man who married them today, Reverend John Boyd. And I had... Just a little background, because when I've mentioned this to people, they've been quite affected by it, and it affected me when I first heard about it and talked with Reverend Boyd about it. His church, he and his church are quite remarkable. When they decided to go over the question of whether they should include gay people in their church, Reverend Boyd said, well, let's make this a true discussion. And he led his congregation in a process that took a few years, and it included bringing in people from the medical community, bringing in lawyers to talk about gay rights as a human rights issue, bringing in people from the gay and lesbian community to be on a panel to talk to people in the congregation. And the congregation of First Baptist Church, where we were today, made a shift to include gay people in their congregation, and it was led by, as Reverend Boyd put it, the matriarchs and the patriarchs of the church. The oldest people there led the way for everybody to open the door to include people who are gay in that church. And I just want to take a moment to say, I think the congregation is remarkable, and Reverend Boyd is a very nice and humble man. And the leader sets the tone, I guess is what I'm saying. Thank you, Reverend Boyd. Very nice ceremony today. Anyway, so as you know, my name's Jackie Torrance, and for those of you who don't know me, about 200 years ago I used to be in a sketch troupe with Michael Best and Kevin Curran and Tara Doyle, and we were called Birdie Num Num. And, I was in my 20s when I first met Michael, and I was drawn to him immediately because, as many of you know, he's very smart and funny, and we both have the habit of we enjoy knocking over a sacred cow or two. It could be kind of fun to do that. And as many of you also know, Michael is very, thrillingly candid about himself, and because I come from a very repressed family, I found this to be quite exciting. And you know, as wonderful as though I found Michael to be, I did worry that he might never find true love, because I thought to myself, sure, he's smart and funny and wonderful, but who's going to love that uncircumcised penis? Hi again to Arlene tonight. Well, anyway, you know, I had to put thoughts of Michael's all-dressed dog aside and concentrate on my sketch career, so I did that. And what a career it wasn't. It wasn't. And we had no idea what we were doing in sketch comedy. We put on shows and we'd have sketches, but we would have 7-minute breaks in between sketches where we'd go backstage and we'd be goofing around with one another. I think we were even having a smoke for some of them. And we'd leave our audience sitting in the dark for 7 to 14 minutes while we were backstage. We would high-five one another about how great the show was. Anyway. We also had no idea about the idea of knowing your audience, you know, making sure you're playing the right material to the right people. And you can see I still struggle with this problem today. But Kevin and Michael and Tara and I will tell you that our favorite memories of Birdie Num Num are the nights we bombed, the nights we went down in flames, you know, barely made it to the car before we were run out of town. And without fail, we'd go home in a crushed silence on those nights, all except for Michael, who was always convinced, no matter what happened, that we had been brilliant and the audience had loved us, no matter what. And to this day, he will not hear any different. differently. And so I used to call him Bertie Num Num's delusional cheerleader. And I have to say that's the trait that most baffles me and scares me about Michael. And also it's the trait I most love about Michael. And sometimes he was the only one believing us and in us. And also, to his credit, you know, there were many nights where he was absolutely right. The audience had loved us, and we had been very good. And I think everyone should have a delusional cheerleader in their life. And so Michael's fervent faith meant that we had experience as a group and as a group of friends that we would never have had if he wasn't pushing us. And there's a club in Toronto, it's called the Rivoli, some of you may know it. Anyway, in the comedy world, it's a big deal. And it was a dream of ours to go there, and our heroes, the kids in the hall, had played there. Anyway, Michael was the one who pushed us to go. We went there, and we put on a show there, and we had a great time doing it, and it came about because of our delusional cheerleader making it happen. And so when Michael met Philiip, right away I could see they had many things in common. You know, they're both smart and they're funny, and they both love uncircumcised penis. Hi, Cora. Philiip is also a cheerleader, and because Michael believes in Philiip, Philiip's opened his own business, and because Philiip believes in Michael, Michael's back in school going for his master's, and I think that's what great loves do, you know, they believe in you and they have such faith in you that they'd give a religious zealot a run for his hair shirt. So Tara's going to speak to you, and I'll just end by saying I love both of them very much, and I wish them a happy life together where they never stop cheering one another on. And
well, I'm going to be a bit trite and say I bet you didn't think it was possible to be overdressed for this affair, did you? I'm coming as the MOTQ, Mother of the Queens. Again, no offense, Arlene and Cora. I think that would make me the Queen's mom. As handsome and debonair as Michael is, one of his most attractive physical qualities is his laugh. And as everyone here who knows Michael, who's heard his beautiful laugh, knows, it's just like a bell. It makes you warm, it makes you happy, it makes you feel like the funniest person in the room even when you're not, and God knows I have not been many times. However, I wondered if Michael could ever find a match for that beautiful and the first friend he found in Maine, a blind date, served him cream corn, wore acid wash jeans, and I don't know what his laugh sounded like, but I know it didn't matter because he served cream corn and wore acid wash jeans. His second adventure was an art student who laughed like and kept talking about dialectical equations with negative space and juxtapositions and I knew he was also known for Michael. But then one night I was at my friend Ivy and Sean right over there at their party, and Michael introduced me to his newest flame. And like a glass slipper, I heard that laugh. That deep, rich masterpiece of phonetic. And it was like a beautiful slipper being put on Michael's foot. There he is, there's the one. And he is the one, and I'm so thrilled you have both found each other. I'm sorry, but I'm so happy. Please Tracy class, and toast Michael and
Michael and Philip. Woo!
Gonna spill on. Let's do regular. Cheers.
Just regular. Vanilla.